got real liquor anxiety because I haven't used one before. So, what is it? Up?
Down for next, I think.
Down for next. Okay, so I'm Claire. I'm going to talk about local SEO. See, that's why it gives me anxiety. So this is me when I'm feeling brave and professional, but I'm not feeling like that at the moment. I feel a bit more like this. So I'm very nervous. I haven't spoken before, and like imposter syndrome's just gone all over me. So that's how I'm feeling. So please be kind. Okay. So when I was planning this talk, I wanted to make a deck that was very tactical about local SEO and something that you could go away and implement straight away. So that's what I plan to do. So is there anyone in this room that does local SEO or manages a GMB listing for themselves or for someone else? Just put your hand up so I see. Okay. Alright, so that was the plan when I started making the deck. And then, whoops-a-daisy, I actually got over 100 slides, so I'll go fast, and I've made a spreadsheet, so all of the links in this are included at the end, and then we'll put the slide deck up as well, so don't worry about scribbling things down. So we'll start with what is local SEO. So simply, it's the process of optimising your online presence to attract more business from local searches. I'll use this and then I can be yours. Okay, so local SEO. It always felt like a very niche topic. It had its own conferences, and it had its own publications, but it really feels like this year it's taken much more of a centre stage. And one of those places it's done that is at MozCon, where a good portion of the talks were about local SEO or local SEO related topics. So why is it so hot? So it's relevant now because in 2018 so far, over 52% of the worldwide traffic was generated through mobile phones, and nearly a third of those searches are related to location. So here we can see Rand, and he's explaining a change in the search landscape is that we can see that Google is succeeding at solving your query before you even click through to the results. So he's talking about the trend of the no-click SERP. So the pink line shows you the mobile searches that don't result in a click-through to a website at all. And the SERP is increasingly filled with knowledge graph, with the people also ask box, and also with featured snippets. And Google's becoming known as the presentation layer of the internet because they're basically on a mission to publish everything they know about your business in the SERP. So why would you need to click through? And as Cindy Cron says, the web is changing and most of us are actually missing the point. But why is this relevant for local SEO? Well, if you work in local SEO, you've always optimised for location or for locational intent. And then the idea of the no-click SERP is nothing new. These links used to go straight through to the business website. Now they take you to the local finder. And once you get to the local finder, it's got pretty much everything you need. So you can get driving directions, opening times for a business, you can find out if it's busy, you can read reviews, you can ask questions, you can answer questions, you can read them, check prices, you can message the business, and you can even browse a list of services. So what do the results look like? And how does Google know where I am? So unless you're trying to hide your location, Google's pretty much going to know where you are and use that data to serve what it thinks are the most relevant results based on your intent. So if you search for a business or a brand name, you'll get the local knowledge panel. So you have a lot of information here, and most of that is going to be populated by your Google My Business dashboard. And when we make a geo-modified search like this, we include a location and we have explicit local intent. And when we make a geo-located search like this one, we have implicit local intent and we're physically located in a specific area. And those local search results, we've got the map pack, normally at the top, and we also call that the local pack and the snap pack. And then underneath, the organic or the localized organic results. And in the middle, you'll see more places. And that takes you through to the local finder. And there you can see a list of businesses. Click on any of those, you'll get the same information you would in the knowledge panel. And here you can click back to the results if you don't find what you're looking for. So if that sounds a bit complicated, then David Mim's got a bit of a good mantra. So regardless of the medium or of the type of result, Google's going to remain a significant source of customers for a lot of local businesses. So we just need to do our best to attract customers from both of those algorithms. So how can we do better? So Google, as always, gives us some really helpful pointers. Relevance, prominence, and distance, which is true, but grossly oversimplified. So every year, for the past 10 years, local SEOs have got together to think about what those local search ranking factors are. And again, a lot of acronyms, a lot of busyness here. And so Whitespark make a simplification of that, and they aggregate those factors thematically and leave out factors that are more difficult to influence, like personalisation. You see here you've got Google My Business with the biggest percentage there in that pie chart. And then you need to think about future-proofing your local SEO strategy, because by 2020, the difference-making local ranking factor will be engagement, but we need to expand what our concept of engagement is. So what does that mean? Well, Google's pretty much got all of the data on your entire, or our entire search journey beyond the actual search itself. So if we're hungry and we search for pizza on Google, we call the pizza restaurant from the SERP, we use Google Maps to navigate to the restaurant, we pay using Google Pay, and then we write a review on Google. So imagine for a minute a local search algorithm where engagement becomes the primary ranking factor. That's what happens. So we'll crack on with those 10 plus 5 things, and we'll stick with the Google My Business focus because it's got a whopping 19% share of the algorithm. It's quick and easy to do, and we'll take advantages of all those opportunities in the no-click SERP. But we're also going to encourage click-throughs because we're going to use our best content. So do number 1, do use Google Posts. So launched June 2017, think of it as a microblog for local businesses. And it's very much underutilised by businesses because only 17% of SMBs have ever created a post. Anyone here created a Google post? Anyone still creating Google posts? So what does it look like? Well, in the knowledge panel, you can see that it's actually a picture of a, can you see what that animal is?
Rhino?
Yeah, so it's a rhino. So that's what it looks like in the knowledge panel. It's got a whole tab for posts where you can see the current post and also the previous post from a business. And there is a URL that you can use to share posts, but those posts aren't actually indexed. So what can you post? Well, you can highlight an offer, promote an event, showcase a review, but basically do anything to repurpose your brilliant content in a way that's going to be appealing for your target market. So you can create a post in Google My Business or in the knowledge panel if you're logged in. You've got 4 post types with a range of call to actions. And the available fields depend on what type of post you're creating. But it's worth noting that if you create an offer, you've got the opportunity for additional tracking by using a coupon code. They last 7 days from when you post them, apart from events which expire at the end of the event. And you can have 10 max at any one time, but I don't think I've seen anyone using that many. They're normally playing around with 2 or 3. So it's a good idea to see what works best for your business with regard to how they convert. So images are going to be important. Google suggests the optimal size of 1076 pixels by 815, but I read different blogs and people say different things. So keep up to date with that and see what works best. And then test across devices, because another thing about whether you have 1 or 2 or multiple is that looks different because 1 sits in the middle and if it's 2 they sort of overlap. And they can fall off the side of the screen, so make sure you centre weight the images. So you can measure post performance using the insights in Google My Business. So you can toggle here between 7 days and 28 days, and then you can see how many views that post had, how many clicks that post had, but you need to keep in mind that some of them could have been live for several weeks, some of them might only be live for 7 days. And we'll come to using parameters later. So they're available to most local businesses, apart from hotels and B&Bs. Sad face. So, do number 2, do use Q&A. So, launched a bit longer ago, August 2017, again underutilised and scarily unmonitored by businesses. So, Q&A is basically a potential online reputation management nightmare because there's little to no moderation in that platform, there's loads of erroneous info, and it can get a bit aggressive. Any logged in user can ask or answer questions, and maybe your biggest fans will answer the questions themselves, but maybe your biggest haters will. And it looks much better when the business itself responds. So it's okay to see the Q&A yourself. That's within Google's terms of service. You can see that's what this business has done here. And some other ideas for Q&A is ask the staff, ask the people that answer the phones. What are the common questions that get asked by potential customers? Is there parking? How much does it cost? Is it suitable for families? Can I stay for 3 nights? And then you can repurpose the questions from your website Q&A and vice versa. So it's important to monitor so nothing strange happens. You can tick the box in GMB settings here, it's the top one, and this sometimes works, but I don't always get an email, so I monitor manually and respond. Or you can pay a third-party platform like GatherUp that will let you know if you've got a new question. Do number 3, do get Google reviews. So I asked you this earlier and said, which one would you click? You said the one with the big red box around it. The new feature in the search. You have to pay for it. So it isn't really, obviously. So which business would you choose if you made a search? Then, personally, it would be one with lots of stars because your eyes are drawn to the stars and it encourages click-through. So it's an eye test, so you don't need to read all that, but the too long did not read is reviews are really important. So you need to ask for them, you need to reply to them, and you need to use them on your pages, including in schema. And that's where you need to be a little bit careful because for local business schema, Google does ask, or does tell you that you must use reviews that come directly from your users and not from other sites. So first-party reviews, not third-party reviews. Because dealing with a spammy structured markup penalty is not a lot of fun. So you need to create a review and feedback loop. So it's a loop. You listen, you learn, you respond, you improve your product or service, depending on what people say about you. It's what everyone does every way, but it can be interpreted as a, let's just get all the reviews. So this is something that we did for a boat trip company, just handing these out to people on booking. So we ran this for a couple of months. We had third-party reviews up 100% and first-party reviews up 500%. And Lucy asked me, well, did you not collect any before? And I was like, no, that's how I got that really amazing result, is because they weren't doing it before. So it's low-hanging fruit for so many businesses. So how do you generate that link that when someone clicks it will take them straight through to the Google review box? So the way that I do it is install the GatherUp Chrome plugin, and then you navigate to the business knowledge box in the SERP, and then you click the plugin, and it gives you 2 super helpful URLs. The first one is the Google Maps URL for that business, and the second one is the Write a Review URL. So if I clicked on that, it would take me, if I was logged in, straight through to this prompt to leave a review for that business. Okay, so it's not the most attractive URL. So you can use Bitly, plug that in, shorten it, and then you can track it and use it everywhere. So on your business cards, feedback emails, reviews page, in your email footer, newsletters, back of the toilet door, staff t-shirts, wherever anyone's going to see that and hopefully leave a review for you. But don't obsess over 5-star reviews. You're all too young to, there's no, okay, 5-star,
I know.
amazing, I know, amazing. If you've got all 5-star reviews because you are amazing and ace, then, thumbs up, good for you. But businesses with just 5-star reviews can look a bit manipulated and spammy. So don't number 1, don't write reviews for yourself. And don't write reviews for your employer or former employer. Don't number 2, don't write spammy reviews for your competitors. Seriously, concentrate on being excellent and getting excellent reviews for yourself. Don't number 3, don't review gate. So this is a recent-ish update in Google's Terms of Service where they ask businesses not to discourage or prohibit negative reviews or selectively solicit positive reviews from customers. Okay, and what that means in reality is that your review funnel's got to be the same regardless. So a lot of third-party review platforms used to give you the opportunity to gate at this point. So you ask your customer, did you have a good time? No, I didn't, it was awful. And then you're like, okay, give us some feedback so we know. But now, even if someone doesn't have a good time, you need to give them the opportunity to review in all of these places. So do number 4, do have great photos. It's easy, it's low-hanging fruit, you've got to get it done. So we exist in a very visual internet culture. So if you think about Pinterest, Instagram, and we curate images really carefully in view of what they say about us, personally and professionally. So we need to extend that curation to our Google My Business profiles, because Google has told us that businesses with photos receive 42% more requests for driving directions and 35% more clicks through to a website, so thinking we're actually getting the click from the SERP in this case, than businesses that don't have photos. And Google has image format requirements, which are here. So it's a good idea to make sure that you've got all of the appropriate photos so you can populate all of the tabs in GMB that are across the top here. And what you've got will depend on whether you're a bricks and mortar business, like a beauty salon, or whether you're a service area business, like a plumber. So you can get a 360-degree virtual tour to give people a real sort of immersive experience before they even come to visit you. And you can add videos as well. So do number 5, do use the right categories. And this is like an element of confusion here, because Google has said you just use one, or just use many, or have as many as you want. But the best advice, I'm going to take a photo and send it to Dana, because she's like basically my pin-up. Okay. Dana says, it's obvious, but pick the categories that make the most sense for what you do and just stop there. So that might be one category, it might be 2, but don't spam and just have loads of categories thinking that's going to get you lots of traffic. So your first category, and this is important, really should be the most important one to you or comprise the biggest part of your business. Because your primary category in GMB will affect the functionality that you're offered in GMB. So some businesses will be able to add menu items or a booking button or add a list of services. So if you want to rank, you need to know what categories you're up against or what categories your competitors have. So it's easy to see the primary category right in SERP because it's right there next to the business name. But you've got to find, it's going to be helpful to know the secondary categories. So to do that, you just navigate to the listing in Maps. You need to make sure you use the name and the full address as is listed in their Google My Business listing. View the source of the page, find the primary category, and then it's likely that you're going to see those secondary categories too. And then monitor GMB for new categories, because as the marketplace changes, there's going to be new categories that come up. And the way that you can do that is you can just poke around in GMB and then just see what comes up. Or if you're feeling really clever, you can use the GMB API and extract from there. So do number 6, check for external edits, because anyone that's logged in can make an edit to your business. So they can change opening times, they can change your URL, they can change the tracking URLs, they can change the business name, they can change your category. Has this ever happened to anyone? Anyone? No? Nobody? Report your business closed. Okay, so you need to check GMB often and monitor for changes. People have done it to me. And monitor for changes and ensure your listing is accurate. Don't do it to me. No, please. No. So the way to do that is log into GMB. So you go to the Manage Locations tabs. You'll see, your location or the locations of your clients. And it says here, review updates, but it's not really a review process because usually those changes have already been made. And then you can change back anything that's incorrect. So do number 7, use tracking URLs. So you're going to ask yourself, how do I know what parts of Google My Business are driving traffic to my site? And how can I track site activity and conversions that have come from GMB? So we use UTM parameters. So there's lots of opportunities to link back to your site from GMB, depending on what your primary category is. So you've got the main website URL, you've got an appointments URL, you've got your post URL, and then you've also got a menu URL. So what you can do is build out those parameters with Campaign URL Builder. So you've got your website in the top field, Google in the source, organic in the medium, and then choose the URL location in GMB to give you your campaign name. So if that's the main, I've made these up, use whatever makes sense for you, but the main website field, GMB listing, appointments URL, GMB APPT, menu URL, GMB menu, post URL, GMB post, and then depending on how granular you want to be with your posts, if you're thinking, well, what was the content of that post, you can also put some information in there to let you know, but for a lot of people that's enough to know that the posts were driving the traffic to the site. So you can see this in Google Analytics, in acquisition, campaigns, all campaigns, and then when I did this I realised that it was a really bad example, but it was also a really good example in some ways, but it's like, be consistent with your naming, have it in a spreadsheet somewhere, so you're not saying, yeah, just pop that in the end of the post to someone that's making a post for you. You need to make sure you're consistent with the way you name those. So do number 8, do fight spam. So much wow here in this SERP, except it wasn't really, because it wasn't particularly spammy. I really struggled to find a really spammy SERP for something in Cardiff. So looking for locksmiths, so it pretty much makes sense that most of those would have the word locksmith in their business name, but will they really all have Cardiff in their business name as well? So Google, again, straightforward guidelines about not spamming the SERP, but basically don't stuff keywords in your business name. It needs to be your real business name. Okay, don't add a business that isn't eligible for Google Maps. Don't add multiple listings to the same business, and don't list a business at a place that it doesn't actually physically exist. So a good hashtag to follow on Twitter is Stop Crap on the Map, where you can sort of see other people that are doing similar spam fighting, and then you can monitor for changes in Google's terms of service, and you can just have many wow moments. So simple spam fighting tactics. You can edit the name of spammy listings, edit their address of spammy listings, and move the map markers of spammy listings. But you need to do your due diligence first. You need to check their websites, check their citations, check Companies House website. So don't make a change unless you can 100% justify that change. So you can check the status of your edits in Google Maps. They might be approved, not applied, or they can sit there pending for a very long time. And a good history of edits will likely influence the approval rate of those edits. So if you go ahead and start making all these changes and it's not justified, you're not setting yourself up very well for this process. And maybe it will also influence the speed of approval. So number 5, don't keyword stuff your business name. So we know that keywords are important, but think about that when you're naming your business, rather than after the fact when you're using spammy tactics to try and rank. This is a lovely business name, it's very legitimate looking. But what's Google going to do about it if you spam? If you spam, there's probably nothing to start off with, because they're under-resourced internally. There's no sort of spam fighting police that can get you. It's up to local SEOs and businesses to report spam and escalate it via the support channels, which are Twitter and Facebook, and they're pretty good, and they will speak to you if you start speaking to them. This is worth a little read as well. They looked at cases of keyword spam to see what actually happened to those businesses, and mostly it was like, you took the spam app, they put it back in. You took the spam app, they put it back in, up to 50 times. So you've got to be quite tenacious if you're going to do it. So when it feels hopeless, you've got to remember that removing those crappy listings means that it's your time to shine in the SERP. It's going to be you that's moving up, so it's worth taking the time. So, how long for time? Is that?
5-ish minutes left.
Okay. Do number 9, do be aware of attributes. So statements that say something about your business in just a few words, and they help searchers decide if your business is the one that they're looking for. So you can add objective attributes, which are like statements of fact, via GMB. And these are things like good for kids, wheelchair accessible, family friendly, and the attributes that you have will depend on the category that you are. I think a lot of hospitality businesses will have lots more restaurants, hotels, whereas if you're something else, it could just be, like I think mine is something like women-led something, that's mine. But that's good because I can use that one. I'm a woman. Okay. So subjective attributes are a little bit trickier because they're crowdsourced and they're based on opinion, not on fact. And you can't edit them via GMB. If you've seen this, so know this place, answer these quick questions. Does anyone do that? Does anyone spend a lot of time answering those questions? So this is where Google will ask you a series of questions and you can answer yes, no, you can not be sure, and there are also more choices. So have a play around, that's such fun while we're waiting hours. So, and the answers to these are likely being used to train Google in terms of machine learning. So answer them properly, okay? The algorithm's going to depend on it. So, can subjective attributes be influenced? Well, maybe. So, if you record what questions are being asked by Google about your businesses, or businesses like yours, and you do that regularly, because it's going to change, and then think about which of those you want to be known for, and then start thinking about whether you can influence people in how they would answer those questions. So you can include those attributes in your GMB business description, in your posts, on your website, and any other online marketing, and take it offline, signs, flyers. You know, we are a family-friendly establishment in blah, 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 blah. So what's Google doing with these subjective attributes? Well, we consider the case of voice search. So someone asks, I hope no one, this isn't going to start anyone's phone. Okay, Google, find me a Spanish restaurant that serves beer and wine, takes reservations, is family friendly, is wheelchair accessible, and is open now. So with the right attributes, that could be your business at the top of the SERP. Do number 10, do add services. So launched pretty recently for businesses in health and beauty and also a lot of other service-based businesses. You add these in the info tab in GMB, and it shows in mobile, it has its own tab, so it's all full of smart services or menu, and it will have them all listed there. But on desktop, well, there's nothing. Well, there's nothing yet. So why would you even bother to do that? Well, you likely have already got the copy written, it'll be on your website somewhere, and even if this feature ends up in the Google graveyard, it's just low-hanging fruit for you. It's likely to increase engagement, and it's also likely a conversion factor. So we've had 10 do's and 5 don'ts, so we're all done. But finally, so this is the link to the local SEO resources for local people. So it's a spreadsheet with all the presentation links, plus bonus materials like schema info, podcasts, all the places you should follow for local SEO. And the last thing to say is thank you for listening.